Hello, students. Mr. AK back again with the second video showing how to create your circle graph and bar graph for one of the statistics in our survey data um, that we got from the staff. All right, so just to remind you, that graph that you create is going to be linked this slide. So we did part one and linked the summary here. Now we're doing part two. Um, and what you'll need to do is you're going to have to come over to the raw data, which is in the reference section of the project. Click on it, and you'll get this document. And what you can then do is take one of the columns in this spreadsheet and turn it into a chart. Because we're doing bar graphs and circle graphs, there are certain columns that are lend themselves more to those graphs. And I'll identify them for you. Column C, uh, column H or I or K or S are all columns that could potentially be good candidates for um, us for making a bar graph or a circle graph. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to look at column S. And so what I can do is I can highlight the column. Okay. I can say insert. I can go chart. And for this video, I'm going to just go with the regular bar graph. Okay. And I am going to close this. And what I'll do is I'll click the three bars that come up. Let me see if I can move these over, widen the screen. So the three bars that come up, I can click those bars and I could say move to its own chart. Let me slide it over, move to its own chart. And now I have this data in a different chart and I can edit it. And I can come over to customs and I can change the style, change the background if I wanted to, turn that yellow. I could do a lot of things. I could turn it 3D. I don't necessarily think you need to do that. Um, then I could uh, do my chart title. I come here and I can change my title to, you know, Mr. AK's bar graph, whatever I want to call it. I suggest that you call it, uh, have it relate to the information that you're doing. So in this case, um, debt from undergraduate degrees related to debt for undergrad. Call it what you want to, but that's just an example of what you could call it. Uh, and I'm doing this kind of clumsy, but you can see how that works. And then once I do that, I could center it if I wanted to, put it in the middle, bold it, do whatever I wanted to do. Then I could go over to the vertical axis, the horizontal axis, and I could name it. Right now, it's all of this clumsy language. I could just say um, debt. Again, you can make the titles whatever you want to, and you can see that that axis changes. You can make it 3D. You can make it bold, or whatever you want to do. You can do the same thing with the vertical axis. Number of responses. I'll call this number of responses. And that pops up on the side. So you create your graph. There are other options. You can play around with it. But once you finish creating your graph, what you can then do is once again, let me see. Oh, disappeared on me for a second. Uh, I can then go over and say copy graph. Once I copy graph, I can go over to this document, which is for graph one and analysis, just to show you where you can find that in Google Classroom. That's right here. Once you're in that document, you can simply paste your graph. Uh, I'll do it, paste it unlinked. I don't want to keep it linked to the spreadsheet. I'll put it in there, and now I can stretch it, make it fit to this box, shrink the box, and make the graph bigger. And once I do that, I answer the questions related to the graph. All right. And here are the standards that you should take into consideration in terms of how I'll be grading you. And that's basically it. That's the video. You create the graph, put it in a document, and you're done.